Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YNTAAY Minis. I'm Chris Smith, and this is part 3 of my Playbill collection. Look, I've got my Titanic, the musical, my coffee mug. And I'm wearing my title of show shirt that says T-shirt. Okay, so we left off with The Full Monty, which I saw on April 19th, 2001. At the Eugene O'Neill Theater on the Broadway. I love The Full Monty. And of course this was the original cast. It has Jason Daniele and the great Kathleen Freeman and Patrick Wilson and everybody. Such a great show. I would love to see this show more often. And I've told this story before, but when I saw this, I bought my ticket at the box office. And a lady came up after me and she was asking the box office people if this was a funny show because she was trying to cheer her husband up. And they said, "Oh, it's very funny. He'll love it." And she said that he was depressed because he had to lay off everybody in his office. And so I'm standing there getting my ticket and stuff in order after I'd finished my transaction. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, The Full Monty is about people who had been laid off from the steel factory, and this man is going to go to this play, this musical, to cheer him up, and he's going to be reminded that his workers could become strippers. Now, on my next trip, I went in July of 2001 with my friend Christine and my niece Sharon, and by myself, I went to see The Music Man at the Neil Simon Theater, and this was the version that had Eric McCormack in it from Will and Grace. And look, I love this. There's a big ad right in the middle of the playbill. He was very good in it. Eric McCormack should do more theater. And then we went to see Tick, Tick, Boom, the Jonathan Larson show that was playing off-Broadway at the Jane Street Theater. I really enjoyed Tick, Tick, Boom. You know, they're making a movie of it. And, of course, this was with the original cast and had Raul Esparza in it. Great show. And my niece Sharon stepped off the curb and twisted her ankle, so her trip that time was just about pain. Here's that ticket for Tick, Tick, Boom. Then, by myself, I went to see Les Miserables because I had never seen it. It had been playing by then for 1,000,000 years at the Imperial Theater. And a great show, yes. Then I saw 42nd Street at the Ford Center for the Performing Arts. It was good. It's not one of my favorites, but a classic in those tap dancing feet. Then I went to see Aida at the Palace Theater, and me and Sharon and Christine, and my friend Pamela was supposed to come, but she couldn't come, so her sister had to meet us in the city. I think she lived in the city. And of course, Heather Headley was in it, wonderful. Matt Bogart was in it, and we had Taylor Dane. And I thought I had seen Matt Bogart because I saw him in the Civil War, but apparently, according to this, he was out that day, and William Robert Gaynor was in. So I'm sure I was very disappointed, but I'm sure he was very good. Then we were back to the Circle in the Square for Rocky Horror, which I had seen the last time I was there, and the cast was a little bit different. It still had Dick Cavett as the narrator, and always trying to find that little page with the pictures to show you. But yes, and look, Anna Gasteyer was in the show at that point, and Luke Perry. So Luke Perry was playing Brad. See, there he is. So when Luke Perry passed away earlier this year, I thought of seeing him in Rocky Horror. he was very good in it. Here was that ticket. And then, okay, so after 9/11, Mayor Giuliani said, come to New York and see a Broadway show. And I thought it was my duty as a citizen of the world to go back to New York. So I went back in October and saw Thou Shalt Not. And that's that Harry Connick Jr. written show at the Plymouth Theater. And I saw Tale of the Allergist's Wife again. This time Valerie Harper was in it, and see, Valerie Harper signed it, and she was wonderful. I liked her much better than Linda Lavin in the show, because Linda Lavin yelled a lot in the role of Marjorie, but Valerie Harper, I thought, made it a little more human. And I must tell you another story about the Tale of the Allergist's Wife. The previous time that I saw it with my friend Abigail, we went backstage and visited Michelle Lee, because I knew her from my days at CBS, but I'm friends with her husband, Fred. And so he arranged for us to get Michelle's house seats. I think we still had to pay, but we visited Michelle Lee. And look, here we are, me and Michelle Lee of Knots Landing, Karen McKenzie, and Abigail. And it was funny because Michelle had a book in her dressing room that she would have her guests sign, and she wanted us to sign it. And then Abigail was like, "Oh, I don't want to sign it," to me, because she was, I don't know, maybe she thought she was embarrassed. She didn't think she was a big enough star. And I was like, "Sign the book. Michelle Lee said so." Then there's the ticket for that visit. And then I saw Kiss Me Kate at the Martin Beck Theater. Here it is, now known as the Al Hirschfeld Theater. And this was with Burt Moses of TV's Loving and the great Carolee Carmello. I always love seeing Carolee in shows. And where is that? Well, anyway, I can't find the page that has all those pictures, and I don't want to take up too much time. And then on that trip back, I also saw Tick Tick Boom again. And look, Molly Ringwald was in it at that point, and she signed my playbill. Now, I didn't think that Molly Ringwald was overly polite. I mean, she wasn't rude or anything, but, you know, I was like, I came all the way from L.A. to see you, and she was like, just didn't seem too thrilled that I had made the pilgrimage, but maybe she's shy. Oh, and we also saw The Fantastics at the Sullivan Street Playhouse, because it was nearing the end of its run. Was its 5th decade. And it was off-Broadway, and it was a little closer downtown, so I felt like we should support off-Broadway theaters that were a little closer to Ground Zero. And, oh, such a painful, sad time in the city. Here was that. Here's the little tiny ticket to the Fantastics. And then my next trip to New York was in March of 2002. I saw B. Arthur on Broadway. It was at the Booth Theater. It was exciting to see B. Arthur, and she performed the show without shoes on. Then I saw Oklahoma, Where the Wind Comes Sweeping Down the Plain, which is back on Broadway now. That was at the Gershwin Theater, where Wicked now lives. And, yes, that was a very good show, a classic. What can you do? I like the newer shows, you know. And it had Patrick Wilson, so I'm always a Patrick Wilson groupie. Andrea Martin was in it. Great show. Oh, and then I saw Elaine Stritch at Liberty, one of my favorite theater experiences ever, at the Neil Simon Theater. Elaine Stritch told a lot of great stories. She tells the dirt, and I've said this in another video before. B. Arthur played it a little safe, but Elaine Stritch really told it. I also saw The Graduate, Oh, here's my Elaine Stritch ticket. These are to prove that I was there. I saw The Graduate on March 17th, 2002 at, yes, the Neil Simon, and it was the 3 o'clock show. This had Kathleen Turner in it, so that was exciting. Jason Biggs and Alicia Silverstone, and they did it, of course, as a play. It's not a musical. But wouldn't a musical of The Graduate be great? And then it was back to Cabaret at Studio 54, and I can't remember who was our Sally Bowles. Oh, Molly Ringwald. So Molly Ringwald was in the show as Sally Bowles. I don't think she's even, well, anyway, just take my word for it. She was. And there's that ticket. And then I saw Urinetown, which is a show I just love. I think my friend Scott was there, right? Everything starts running together, but I think Scott and I saw Urinetown together. And this is with, I believe, the whole original cast. And then now this is sad, y'all. On March 19th, I saw the producers, but it was the first night with the new cast after, or the new leads after Matthew Broderick. So I had Henry Goodman and Steven Weber, and Henry Goodman they got rid of shortly thereafter. I also saw Take Me Out at the Walter Kerr Theater, and a great play. And I saw The Look of Love at the Brooks Atkinson Theater. There are those tickets. So that takes us right up to 2003. Okay. Goodbye. See you next time.